Have you ever thought why we can watch a web series for hours but reading a book even for 30 minutes seems difficult? Why do we feel so good while eating junk food, surfing net, playing video games, shopping or watching TV? The answer to all this is a chemical released in our brain called as dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good nerve transmitter which helps to transfer signals between neurons. Dopamine is strongly associated with motivation, pleasure and reward. It is involved in neurological and physiological functioning as well. When we associate any activity with pleasure, mere anticipation is enough to raise the dopamine level. The activity causes a surge in dopamine, which in turn reinforces the behavior. For example, suppose you like chocolate chip cookies. The smell of it baking at your home or sight of it is enough to release dopamine. This dopamine motivates you to eat the cookies. Eating the cookies causes a surge of dopamine, which reinforces the behavior of eating cookies. In short, it is a cycle of motivation, reward and reinforcement. Some activities like junk food, video games, watching porn, shopping, gaming, etc. release large amount of dopamine. Hence we find them addictive. When we feed our body with unhealthy rewards all the time, we are not motivated to do healthy and beneficial things like reading, exercising, working towards our goals. They seem to be very boring as dopamine released during these activities is too less. As an extreme case, we can compare this condition with that of drug addicts. The dopamine high given by drugs cannot be matched by normal routine activities. As a result, drug addicts lose interest in day-to-day activities. The next problem with this type of pleasure activities is that our brain adapts to them, and every time we need more and more stimulus to get the same amount of dopamine. So what is the solution? How to make our brain do difficult yet productive and beneficial things? Our number one is to go for dopamine fasting. Select a time frame. Even a few hours is okay for beginners. In that period, avoid all destructive behaviors that release high dopamine like junk food, TV, mobile, etc. The practice of dopamine fasting has been developed by Cameron Sheffer, a clinical professor of psychiatry at the University of California. According to Sheffer, taking a break from behaviors that trigger strong amounts of dopamine release allows our brain to recover and reset itself. He finds it particularly useful in controlling compulsive behaviors like emotional eating, excessive internet use, gaming, gambling, shopping, porn, masturbation, thrill and novelty seeking, and recreational drugs. Let us understand by an example. Suppose a person eats lavish food in a 5-star restaurant every day. Simple homemade food will lose its appeal to him. If the same person does not get to eat for a few days, he will be very hungry and will enjoy anything given to him. Similarly, when our brains are not overstimulated, it becomes easy to focus and perform difficult but useful activities which will bring us long-term rewards. Our number 2 is to use dopamine as reward for tough activity. Spend time doing something which is difficult for you, and at the end of successful completion, you can reward yourself with a small activity that you love doing. Example, playing video game for 15-20 minutes after 2 hours of studying. The next thing we can do is to boost our dopamine naturally by having a healthy diet, exercise, good night's sleep, and meditation. In short, being mindful and disciplined can solve our problem of seeking pleasure all the time and avoiding meaningful but difficult activities.